my friend and the next state rep of our district, Bob Sweere.
Yay! I'm going to try to do this without the mic. If I'm not talking loud enough, just let me know and then we'll turn it on.
Is that okay?
Use the mic. Use the mic. Use the mic. Mic's on.
Okay.
Try singing the song first, Bob.
You don't want that.
As Andy told you, I've been lawyering for 40 years.
You gotta eat the food.
Lawyers make their livings analyzing facts and telling their clients cold, hard truths. So I'm going to tell you some cold, hard truths. The Republicans control the legislature. Outside of metropolitan Kansas City and St. Louis, where we're standing, right here, the 132nd district is the only seat in the State House of Representatives that's held by a Democrat. What's that mean? Well, I want to introduce you to the other state rep candidates that are here. There's Angie Pryor. Jim Clemens. Ella Jane.
Remember how to pronounce it now.
Everyone's here. Unless we elect all these people and send them to Jeff City, then none of those things that we Democrats think are important are going to happen. So don't expect that unless you send these people, that we're going to be able to stop right to work again. Don't expect that we're going to be able to increase the minimum wage. Don't expect that we're going to be able to expand Medicaid. Don't expect any payday loan reform. Don't even expect that we're going to have our roads fixed.
Yeah.
Because none of that, unless we send more Democrats to the legislature, is going to happen in the next session.
That's right.
What else does that mean? That means that unless we come up with some new ideas, ones that the Republicans haven't already chosen up sides to oppose, that the next legislature, just like the last one, is going to go nowhere. And that's why I'm running. I have what I think are some new ideas, at least for Missouri. Ideas which even my Republican friends, when I talk to them, agree will promote the general welfare. And so I'd like to talk to you about those ideas. The first, Missouri needs a death with dignity law. Anyone facing unbearable pain or a terminal illness should be able to die peacefully, with his loved ones around him to provide comfort and support. We treat our dying pets with more respect when we treat our dying parents. It's a crime in this state for a physician to comply with a terminal patient's request for a prescription to end life. It's a crime for a wife to help her husband end his suffering. In Missouri, the only way to prevent a loved one from being a co-conspirator in our self-made decision to die is to die alone and to tell nobody about it. And this is just wrong. This is not about euthanasia. This is about passing a law saying that competent adults have the right to end their own suffering on their own terms and at a time and place of their own choosing.
Amen.
I'd like to share some personal stories, and if you come by my office later, I'd like to hear yours. My mom's brain died long before her lungs gave out. My dad my 8 siblings and I can't even agree on how many days we were in the hospital room with an open mouth, jaundiced skull before my mom's bleeding stopped. That jaundiced open mouth skull is my last memory of my mom. Another family member spent a month dying at home in a morphine haze because the med techs, and not he, controlled the morphine drip. A friend of mine, a close friend, his dad went out into the barn and blew his brains out because he couldn't share his terminal cancer diagnosis with his kids and didn't want to suffer. None of these things had to happen. We all know people that have had stuff like that go on, and none of that has to happen. This is something that we can fix. 5 other states have fixed it. Missourians have compassion and common sense. We can find a way to treat our dying parents as well as we treat our dying pets. Please stand with me in supporting a death with dignity law for Missouri. My second idea is to correct Missouri's fake homestead law. Under our fake homestead law, a judgment creditor can auction off the family home on the courthouse steps, pay the homeowner $15,000, and put the family out on the street. 39 states have homestead laws that are better than that. 8 states, including the states bordering Missouri of Iowa and Kansas and Oklahoma and Arkansas, have unlimited homestead laws. In those 8 states, a judgment creditor cannot touch the family home to collect the debt. With an unlimited homestead, only a lender holding your voluntary mortgage can evict you, and only after you've failed to pay the mortgage. The unlimited homestead was invented by Stephen F. Austin, the founder of Texas. The unlimited homestead was written into the first Texas Constitution in 1834. What year was the album? 1836. So it's been in part of Texas law from before it became an independent country. And it's been part of the Texas Constitution ever since. Now to promote Texas, Austin went back to places like St. Louis and Nashville, and he promised people free land, but only if they homesteaded. Texas was settled by people who are upside down back home. It wasn't the well-to-do that settled Texas. It was people needing a fresh start. So what happened? After the Texans built their new homesteads, the vulture back home creditors would show up looking to collect their money. Austin just ran them off. He refused to allow those back home creditors to take the only asset his new Texans had, their homestead. Now, unlike Texas and Iowa and Kansas and Oklahoma and Arkansas, Missouri homestead law is rigged. It's rigged in favor of the credit card companies and the hospitals. Real estate and bankruptcy law are 2 of my specialties. During the Great Recession, 2008 to 2013, I spent about half my time fighting and frequently failing to keep Missouri families in their homes. The story I'm going to tell you is one that I heard over and over again during the Great Recession. Mom clerks at Walmart. Dad works construction. They bought their home 25 years ago and it's worth $75,000. And they paid their mortgage down to $25,000, so they have $50,000 in equity. Their home equity is all they've got. 2 years ago, daughter had a car wreck, 25 grand in medical. Last year, mom had a heart attack, another 20 grand in medical.
Cut her hours.
Now the nasty grams are coming, and soon it'll be the lawsuits. Soon the Sisters of No Mercy are going to get their judgment, and one of three things is going to happen. First, the bankruptcy court will take the home, write mom and dad a check for $15,000 and leave the family homeless. Two, Mercy auctions the house off at the courthouse steps, writes mom and dad a check for $15,000 and leaves the family homeless. Or three, Mercy's judgment lien sits there until the home is sold, but mom and dad's equity will never exceed $15,000, even after their mortgage is paid in full. Now, it doesn't need to be that way. Our legislature can protect Missouri homesteads just like the legislatures have in 8 other states. And so I'm asking you to stand with me and stand for an unlimited homestead law for people in Missouri. The third thing